Welcome to another episode of OG55. Today we're diving into those Epic Universe previews. There's a lot of controversy, a lot of outrage online. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. OG55 is back in the house after a bout of COVID, but I am back ready to go with Italiano up next on OG55. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. Today, we're talking all about Epic Universe team member previews. Now, before we get started, I do want to give a big shout out to a friend of the channel, D Magic Girl. D Magic Girl is a travel agent. Okay, she's a travel agent, and in this season right now, where Epic Universe is soon approaching, in May, basically, there's a lot of stuff as theme park nerds that we might want to book. I'm going to be linking her her socials, her Instagram and her X account in the description down below. So if you want to support a friend of the channel, Danielle, check it out in the description and book your vacation with Danielle, D Magic Girl. George, how you doing, brother?
Doing good. Lots of to dive in today. I can't wait to get your take on with Epic Universe. I have some thoughts on it myself. But yeah, definitely a good time to have a conversation, especially as you said, like Epic Universe is very close to opening right around the corner with all these epic previews, if you will. And yeah, definitely a lot to discuss.
Absolutely. George, where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also check out my new YouTube channel, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
There we go. Let's rock and roll. This is courtesy of Universal Parks News Today. Got a great shot of Super Nintendo World. Super Mario. Well, is it Super Nintendo World.
Super Nintendo World. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, you would think it would just be called Super Mario. I mean, even though that they added Donkey Kong, but especially here at Hollywood, they call it Super Nintendo World, but it's all Mario.
Right. That's why my brain always goes like to Super Mario World, but okay. Super Nintendo World. A new controversy has begun after members of the influencer and media community have been abusing the family previews of Epic Universe to generate content. Influencers accessing Epic Universe team member previews. Okay, so it says here, this is interesting, right? Epic Universe is currently undergoing the second wave of team member previews prior to its grand opening on May 22nd. The first wave of previews only allowed team members to attend by themselves, though the dates and tickets were expanded to allow each team member to attend up to 8 times, okay? Interesting. The team member only previews concluded on March 14th. And the second wave began on March 17th. The second round of team member previews for Epic Universe allows team members to bring up to 3 family members. And we're all family, right? We're all family, George, as they say in Fast and Furious. As with the original previews, the dates for the family previews were also expanded through the beginning of April. So it says here that and I do apologize. I just want to set the table so we can have the discussion. I know that sometimes reading this gets a little dry, but we got to do what we got to do. In the information regarding the family previews, Universal was extremely explicit concerning who was allowed to attend. Okay, based on the original team member email, only up to 3 family members are allowed to visit Epic Universe on the same day as their respective team member. The email also specifically stated that the previews were limited to family members, including a spouse, domestic partner, parents, children, siblings, or people close enough to be considered family members. This was later updated to allow those closest to the team members, acknowledging that sometimes families come in different forms, okay? Regardless, the intention to keep guests to keep guests legitimate remained, both the team members and family previews have been enforcing strong no photography policies, with team members only allowing to post images of some of the merchandise they brought home from Epic Universe on social media. So basically, if you're a team member, you can bring your spouse, your domestic partner, parents, your kids, your siblings, or people close enough to be considered family members. So maybe you have, I don't know, like your lifelong friend that you've known for 35 years or something, or maybe your mom's significant other, but they're not technically married, but that person has been part of the family for 20 years or something like that. That's essentially what they're referring to here. So basically it would be who you consider your family, right? So not like just a casual buddy, essentially, is what Universal's saying. Now, apparently, it does seem, according to this article, that there has been some abuse of that, in terms of there are, it looks like, at least, that there's instances of some content creators showing up that, might not necessarily be family or fall under this category. What say you, George? What are your thoughts on this in terms of the team members, in terms of who they are bringing in to these previews? Is it an abuse? Is it really not an abuse due to the fact that Universal is sort of kind of leaving a lot of loopholes here when they say families come in different forms? What's your take on this, brother?
Yeah, so I can see both ends of the spectrum. For instance, when Universal has it written down black and white, it's family or like really close friends, it does beg the question that are there some team members? Now, again, I'm not accusing, it's bringing up the question because of what has been brought into light on this matter. But does it beg the question that some team members kind of abuse the system for, personal clout to bring in influencers, vloggers, content creators, just to say, hey, I was the person that brought in this person, to be able to give off this information that was on me, but then also at the same time, if you look at the other end of the spectrum, Universal kind of steps in it a little bit, which I get it. I'm always big on, blood isn't always thicker than water. You can have someone that's part of your family that's not necessarily, in, your immediate family and what have you. But Universal then has to understand that when they put it in that manner, you're kind of giving out a widespread decision upon team members to say, well, I consider them a really good friend. Like what defies.
That's the thing.
Somebody saying, this person is really close to me, I should be able to bring them. See, if Universal, and I get it that they wanted to kind of keep it open, but if they would have just kind of stuck straight to the, either your significant other, your partner, husband, wife, parents, children, if you kind of started off like that, then maybe do like another wave, like where it's like, okay, then it's kind of like free for all. You can bring any kind of friends or what have you. That's how I think Universal should have done it. But when you kind of combine it all into one, just to kind of get it moving with like the previews because of the time of opening, you're kind of giving free range for these team members to just kind of bring whoever they want.
Yeah, and Universal's in a tough spot, because if they were to say, hey, you can only bring your immediate family, right? So you can only bring like your husband, your wife, and your kids or something, like the people in your household, then they would come under fire, I think, from people where it would be like, well, you're singling out other elements of the family that might not necessarily live in the home and stuff like that. So Universal is kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't here in a lot of ways, But you're right, George. I mean, whenever you kind of leave a little bit of wiggle room, like who's to say like that person isn't family to me, I mean, and how do you gauge that? Like when Universal says, hey, you know what, if they're not your blood, it's okay. If you consider them close family, that's cool. So it's like there's no way to sort of like there's no way to sort of judge that, like from Universal's perspective. So they're kind of, in my opinion, it's sort of like leaves it wide open for people to do this, and they're going to do it, and they are doing it, and it's kind of no big surprise. But I mean, it's just kind of the nature of how things are, you know. And again, it's something that's in a lot of ways when you include people that you feel are close to your family, it's a subjective sort of thing, and Universal has no right to tell you no, they're not. Right? So what can they possibly do? You know, what can they possibly do?
And Universal also has to take into consideration that, I mean, is it really a bad thing to, even if someone did want to bring in a vlogger or an influencer? I mean, wouldn't that then help out with Epic Universe? Because I mean, these people have credibility with, you know, being on social media and YouTube. Wouldn't you want to promote and market that through like people who, you know, have a name out there in social media? I mean, like, I wonder like why Universal would have an issue with that, with the vloggers and everything, because it does beg the question too, because I feel like Disney is a little bit more laxed on that. But now I'm questioning, with all this coming out, then Disney want to pull back on some of those rules?
Well, you know, I think that Universal does want the media there, like the influencers and all that, but maybe they just want a controlled thing where they want to do it on their time and their and their schedule, and maybe they're just maybe not necessarily ready. But again, like, if you're gonna say like, hey, you know, anyone you consider family, like, I mean, you kind of leave that door wide open. So technically, they're not really breaking the rules, you know, I guess, right? I mean,
and then Universal have to sign off of who they're bringing?
That I don't know. Yeah, if we have any team members watching this, comment down below. Let us know if you can. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but if you can, comment down below and let us know. Like, does your supervisor need to sign off on who you're bringing? Because that's also interesting, right? If you can kind of make the case to your supervisor, hey, this person isn't my blood relative, but this is my relationship to them. Yada yada yada. This person, you know, saved me from getting hit by a bus like 12 years ago. They don't live with me, but they saved my life. They're family. You know, can I bring them? You know, stuff like that. Do you have to make the case to your team supervisor, or is it something that you just kind of sign off on and you're good to go? I'm very curious about that too, the process, you know?
Maybe these parks need to start doing like a little bit more involvement of who's coming in. Maybe like to do like a blood, urine, semen, stool sample. Yeah. You know, it's kind of like just get it all out there, you know.
Get it all out there, you know, exactly. What's your blood type, George? What's your blood type? You know, that kind of thing, you know. But like yeah, but it's interesting. Now, speaking of breaking the rules though, there have been issues though, and this is a blatant breaking of the rules. Of people taking pictures while in the park, and you're not supposed to do that. And
now, was that discovered prior to Universal then wanting to like be a little bit more stricter? Do you think that's one of the reasons?
It could be one of the reasons. It could be, I'm not really sure. This article references online outrage, so I'm not even sure if Universal's even upset, to be honest with you, because it says here, a new controversy has begun after members of the influencer and media community have been abusing the family previews of Epic Universe to generate content.
So is it more so just regular people that
I think so.
Because influencers are getting like a free access.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just the online park community is upset because they're seeing influencers going there and they're kind of putting two and two together going, wait a minute, you know, like what relative do you have working over there kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But again, and I get that. I understand the frustration from that argument. Absolutely. You know, but I also understand the argument of like when Universal cracks that door open and says, you can bring anyone you consider family. Well, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
And how do you gauge that? How do you measure? How do you tell somebody, well, no, they're not really family to you?
Because you're taking your word over theirs.
Well, yeah, and Universal's allowing you to do your word on it. Like they're telling,
right? Yeah, they're saying like we're trusting you to bring someone, but then after you do, we start interrogating you, and then it's like, well, why? Like this is the person that I chose to bring.
Yeah,
so it's like a contradiction. But I'm sorry, going back to what you were saying about like taking photos and everything, regardless if you're, you know, a vlogger, a content creator, an influencer, or just a regular person, a family member, friend, whatever. If it clearly states you cannot take no photos or video, and photos are being leaked, now that's very shitty. You know, that's something that
Yeah, there's no
you
excuse.
automatically know that those are the rules, but you're breaking it, then that's going too far.
Yeah, no, if there's a no picture rule, that's very cut and dry. That's a very black and white rule. You can't take fucking pictures. Okay. So if you're taking pictures of the portals and stuff like that, no, that's not okay. You're just straight up breaking the rules. Bring a family member, but they don't have to be your actual family member. If you think they're family, that's cool too. That's so subjective and wishy-washy. And I can see why there's issues there. But now, to be fair to Universal, at least according to this article, it doesn't seem like it's Universal who's necessarily having the issue. It seems like it's more of the community. So I want to make that clear, because it doesn't, from what I gather, and I could be wrong. Hold on, let me just make sure. It says here, according to new social media posts from Universal team members, it appears individuals considered influencers are already abusing the early previews of Epic Universe. People such as vloggers, reviewers, or social media influencers have already been caught entering Epic Universe under the guise of being family members. These members have been posted. Okay, Now, yeah, it doesn't. It says here, team members caught abusing the previews risk consequences, including potential termination. Okay, so if you're caught, and it said right here, I'll show you.
Okay, so then that would have to be coming from Universal if it's saying for termination. So are these people pretending to be family? See, now that's another whole thing too. See, now if they're bringing them in and they're saying this is a really good friend, then I can understand. But if they're bringing the person in and saying, hey, this is my cousin, or this is my close brother-in-law, but they really aren't.
See, and this is the problem, though. When Universal says that the family doesn't have to be blood,
And that's what I'm saying. That's where
you get into this weird gray area where it's like, well, they're family to me. You know, I get it. I totally understand like the why people are upset with this. But that's the problem when you crack the door this wide, people are going to take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? And then how does Universal go in there and even like, it says here that if you're caught, there's, you can be terminated, right? But I mean, how would they go about even like determining like this person isn't close enough to you? Is what I'm trying to say, you know?
By their wording of who they can accept to bring, they made it too universal.
No pun intended, too universal. Yeah, exactly. So again, I'm not condoning anyone abusing any system here. I'm not, honestly, if it was up to me, I would just bring like.
So I would love to know like what those guidelines are. Where is Universal's optic lens at as to opposed to what they wrote in their statement?
Well, this is the thing. This is what it says. We'll read it. Let's read it again, because maybe we're missing something. Let's see. Okay, it says here, the email specifically stated that previews were limited to family members, including a spouse, domestic partner, parents, children, siblings, or people close enough to be considered family members. People close enough to be considered family members.
See, that's where they kind of stepped in. That final little piece opened up a whole Pandora's box.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing. It's too subjective. And I understand why Universal did that. They want to be inclusive. They want to make sure that you have a chance to bring a family member that maybe isn't blood, but is considered family for you. But it is a very gray area, and people can take advantage of that, unfortunately. So it's a tough situation all around. At the end of the day, though, you shouldn't abuse it, okay? If you legitimately know a content creator who is family to you and you're really close to them, that's awesome. By all means, bring them. But if you don't really know this person and you're just trying to like get on the good side, that's not cool. That is not cool. So you follow the rules, and
then as far as like photo taking, that's just not cool all around, because that's written in there black and white regardless.
Exactly. So, yeah, if you're attending these previews, you do not take pictures at all. You do not take pictures. You listen to the team members. That follow the rules once you're in the park. It's a privilege to go to these previews. Okay, people would die to go to this. Okay, like you're in that park, just enjoy it. Don't try to like take it to the edge. You know what I'm saying? You're already there. You're already lucky enough. Just play by the rules and you're good. But yeah, it's a crazy situation. Not too surprising though, George, right? I mean, you're bound to have this kind of thing,
Yeah.
where people kind of take advantage, right? So I think, in my opinion, to kind of wrap this up in a big little bow, I think there are probably a lot of legitimate cases here where there are people that maybe are very close to influencers or content creators. Because remember, a lot of these influencers and content creators in our space are people, and they have relationships and family and ties to people in this industry. So it's not completely unheard of that they would have close connections to people that might work at Universal. At the same time, there are also likely people that are just inviting people that they like as a creator, barely know the person, and getting them in. And that's not cool, because that is breaking the rules. But again, Universal sets themselves up for that because of the wishy-washy kind of verbiage in the rules.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
What can you do? But you know what's not wishy-washy? How badass BioReconstruct is. Because look at this picture right here.
Yeah, those are the pictures that like to look at, because those are like breathtaking. But I'm actually glad you brought that up, because this was kind of off the subject, but on the subject to the photo. Now, it could just be me. I'm not criticizing, because I will give my full opinion once I'm actually there on location, experience it myself. But for some reason, I don't know why I feel like Celestial Park would look so much better at night than it does in the daytime.
Yeah, okay, I think it looks really good. I do. I don't think that it looks bad at all. I will say this though. I live in LA. I live in LA County, and we have half a dozen malls that look like this. I'm not even kidding you. Google the Americana in Glendale. Google the Grove in LA. Literally, they have the water fountains, even the Greek figures with the statues, the whole thing. I mean, literally, it looks like LA mall, outdoor mall. Like we have so many that look like this. Okay. Now, with that said, it does look like the Grove, absolutely, but that doesn't necessarily mean I think it looks bad. But it's just an observation. It definitely has the Grove in LA vibe, and the hotel very much has that Bellagio thing. So, and again, this isn't shitting on it. I don't want people to think I'm like trashing Universal. I'm not. It's an observation. It looks like the Grove and the Bellagio hotel to me. That's not bad. I've stayed at the Bellagio. The Bellagio is fucking gorgeous. Okay, it's one of my favorite hotels in Vegas. It's amazing. Okay, it's one of the only hotels that doesn't smell like cigarette smoke. It's really, really nice. I've stayed there. It's beautiful. Okay, but it looks like the Bellagio. So that's how I see it. But to your point, George, to kind of circle back, yeah, it probably does look better at night. I mean, most theme park stuff does, though. To be fair.
I think this part in particular, because there's really nothing that pops, so to speak, like from this aerial point of view. Like I just see like the two fountains, you see the hotel, and you see kind of the dome of like where the carousel is. So there's like really nothing to really like show for. I just feel like that at night, like it would really like pop with like the lights and the colors and everything. Because at least with the other lands, you still have like an architectural appeal to like the Isle of Berk or Dark Universe or Super Nintendo World, where this just looks kind of simple compared to the other structures.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And at night I think there was some video. I think it might have been from BioReconstruct, if I'm not mistaken, at nighttime, where they have a whole LED package synchronized. Mm-hmm. Very similar to the Epcot thing, actually, that they did recently in Epcot. That lights up and changes color and the whole thing. So it looks pretty cool at night. Absolutely. I do like the 3 lagoon kind of setup, how they have the 3 different bodies of water like next to each other. I think that's pretty cool, but we'll see, man. But you'll be going there in May.
Yeah. May 22nd, opening date. Oh, that was the other thing too. Now they did make an announcement that the the grand opening is going to actually be on May 21st. Now, what that means is they're going to have like all the media, kind of like the ceremony, probably the cutting of the ribbon and everything to officially kick that off, which I'm fine with. A lot of people were disappointed with that because they thought the official day was going to be May 22nd. But the problem with that is if they were to do the big ceremony, that cuts into your Epic Universe day.
Right.
For the actual official day. So I would rather them do the ceremony on the 21st. So that way, when the 22nd comes, everyone can just go into the park and have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And George will be there at that opening, the first operating day, right? Mm-hmm. And you will be there with Abby, and you will have some content. I don't want to I don't want to over promise because I want you guys to have fun and not worry about filming. So
right,
you're planning on filming stuff, but you don't know how much. So
correct.
Okay. Yes. So just put it out there. There will be some coverage, but it might be a lot, might be a little, just depends on where they're at. You know what I'm saying?
Either way, depending on how much content that's actually filmed there, I will definitely be doing a full review after that day for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So Epic Universe, everyone's excited. It's the talk of the town right now. Everyone's super excited. I think from now until the opening, it's going to be pretty much nonstop buzz at this point because you're going to have all these previews. The park will probably soft open probably before the official opening, I would imagine. No? Am I tripping on that, you think?
They may. I mean, they may do it. Because they're already doing like team member previews. They may do a soft opening, maybe for a certain amount of people.
Special access, maybe?
Special access, yeah. You know what they always say, you got to start off a little soft before you get hard.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So we'll see, but very exciting stuff. We got a brand new theme park coming to the Orlando area. First time since 1999, right? Wasn't that the last one?
1999, Islands of Adventure.
Gosh.
Because Animal Kingdom was 1998.
Yeah. Wild stuff, man. Wild stuff. All right. Well, George, any final comments on Epic Universe before we get out of here?
I can't wait for Epic Universe myself to experience it myself, give my overall thoughts and opinions on it. For all the team members who are bringing in family or people considered family, just go by, the roles the best that you can. Because as I said, looking at both ends of the spectrum, Universal kind of kicked open that door by that final statement, which again, Universal has to cover their own ass. So I really don't think there's like a right or wrong to it on both ends. It's just like no matter how you bake the cookie's always going to crumble.
Well, it's going to be something. You're going to fall on one side of the issue or the other with this thing. It's a very in-demand park right now. Everyone wants to experience it, and there's going to be. People are either going to say they're too rigid with their rules or they're too lenient with the rules, and it's just gonna. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But just try your best, team members. Just look out for yourself and just try your best when you're bringing people in to just stay as close to what Universal's asking you to bring. Close people, either in your immediate family or people that you consider family. Just try your best to get it as close as possible to that if you can. You know what I'm saying? So, but George, thank you for joining today. If you could let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You can also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also check out my new YouTube channel, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
There he is, everybody. Thank you for watching this episode of OG55, where we talk all about Disney, but we also talk about Universal. And lately, OG's been a big Universal guy. George knows. He knows. I've been a big Universal Hollywood guy. You know what I'm saying? It's been my jam for a few months now. So, but yeah, I've been into it. But yeah, comment down below.
It's all that beer and booty.
There you go. Exactly. Hey, Universal knows how to deliver the beer and the booty, right? They really do. They also know how to deliver the rolled ankles and the COVID. I got both of those from Universal. Not Universal's fault, though. Neither situation was their fault, so to be fair. But thank you for watching this episode of OG55. 5. Until the next time, see you later, alligator.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.